Hugh, thanks for joining us for an update on Redbank Copper. Firstly, you've only been in the driver's seat at Redbank for 5 weeks now following your commencement as MD in early February. Before we get started into the nitty-gritty of Redbank's operations, can you just give us a quick introduction to yourself and what attracted you to the Redbank opportunity?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Look, by background, and let's cover that first. I started off in industry for approximately 8 years. I landed up then becoming a consultant, specialising in the mining world. So I guess the important thing there is I've lived in dongas and know them intimately, and I've done that all the way around the world. I was then lucky enough to jump into investment banking, where I spent about 15 years with the likes of the JP Morgans and the Morgan Stanleys. In fact, I landed up running their natural resource practices for both. So, quite senior roles, specialising, particularly in mining. And then I guess I quasi-retired and started taking NED roles and have been active as a board member on both public and private companies. But I moved back to Australia due to COVID and wanted something to do. And this was just a particularly interesting project. I guess it piqued my interest. And so that probably leads to the second part of your question, which was why Redbank? This really is a case of hopefully being part of a team that unlocks world-class resource. And I did my due diligence before joining, and in the 5 weeks that I've been here, it's only kind of confirmed the excitement of the appointment. So I'm here to hopefully help the team and augment the team, build that asset out, discover that asset and build it out. We've got a small balance sheet, which obviously makes it a little challenging at first, but to counter that, there's an incredibly strong technical team.
Thanks, Hugh. Redbank recently reported the outcomes from its Bluff East drilling program, which was completed at the Redbank project last year. Can you just summarise the key takeaways from that program, both positive and negative, and how do those findings shape the exploration program for 2022?
Yeah, okay, yeah. There was an RC drilling program concluded in the fourth quarter of last year, testing the IP anomalies and assessing the structural copper targets east of the Bluff copper deposit. There were a total of 30 RC holes were drilled. There was about 3,000 metres of drilling, testing 12 of 33 IP chargeable anomalies. The results show copper mineralisation is encountered, and there were horizontal contact, so the strata looked as it should have. Importantly, those results were outside the known pressure pipe mineralisation, which supports the theories that we have that the copper's retained in stratas in and around those pressures. Look, there were some challenges. The RC rig was limited in its ability to penetrate below 100 metres due to a series of unforeseeable mechanical issues. As a result, deeper drilling is required to effectively test those targets this coming year. The problems with the drill rig was not around its specification. It was definitely a drill rig which should have been capable of doing the work. It was purely mechanical issues that the driller nor the Redbank team could fix. The drill target was also impacted by the fact of the VTEM being later to complete than we'd hoped. The program with the VTEM was supposed to take 12 to 15 days. It landed up taking nearly 90. So the VTEM information was not available prior to the drilling program. Having said that, the drill results still support the potential further copper mineralisation to be hosted within the east-west structural corridor, that links the existing pressure pipe deposits. So, was it the most successful year? No, but did it still provide additional information and give us encouragement for the future? Absolutely.
Thanks, Hugh. It's also worth noting a very positive announcement released to the market earlier this month, which detailed a soil anomaly spanning 40 kilometres at the Calvert South prospect. Can you just shed some light on that program for us and summarise the key takeaways from that program that your team has completed?
Yeah, and this is, I guess, the best news from last year. So Redbank concluded an extensive regional soil sampling program in the McArthur Basin at 500 metre centres. And my understanding, that's probably one of the largest soil samplings that's been done for a long time up in the McArthur Basin. The geochemistry was extremely insightful and provided, really quite a compelling story to the prospectivity of the area. The most significant target to date is the Calvert South prospect, which is located about 50 kilometres west of the Redbank copper deposits. The Calvert South soil anomaly has a 40 kilometre hydrothermal alteration, or like a cell, defined by significant copper, manganese, bismuth, antimony anomalies. The thing that I hope I can portray, and many of our shareholders do understand, this is extremely sophisticated geochemistry analysis that's been done, which simplistically looks at the relationship and the correlations of various multi-elements, which we then get overlaid with the geophysical data we have on the area. It all suggests that prima facie there really could be a large strata-bound copper deposit, potentially significant in size. So, that was obviously incredibly encouraging from the technical team and hopefully for our shareholders.
Thanks, Hugh. And just finally, can you just provide us with a bit of an insight into your plans for the 2022 field season? And do you have any comments to leave us with?
Alex, I guess what the drilling and the soil assay results have allowed us to do is build up, an extensive regional framework of the Redbank project area that will pave the way for a much more streamlined and targeted approach to drilling later this year. The plans for the 2020 field season are well advanced, and we'll focus on drilling the high priority targets generated by the soil assays and over the VTEM conductors. Subject to available funding, we'll drill the publicised or ASX released, VTEM anomaly with up to 48 holes to 300 metres. So I guess about 14,500 metres of drilling, which the budget allow. This will also allow us to have budget to put into some exploratory holes in Calvert South, we hope, and drill some targets which are currently being established as a result of those soil samples. I guess the final comment that I'd like to provide is, obviously I'm the new managing director. I've only been here for 5 or 6 weeks. But looking ahead, one of the things I really do want to put an emphasis on is planning to keep the shareholder base regularly informed, progress updates from our 2020 exploration program, and in fact items which we'll conduct before that starts in June, July. Hopefully this shapes up to be a very busy and successful year for the company, and it's one where I hope to keep the shareholders informed on a very regular basis.
Fantastic, Hugh. Really appreciate you joining me today. All the best for your tenure at Redbank and the upcoming programs as well. We look forward to catching up soon. Thanks for joining me.
Alex, thanks very much indeed. Cheers.